Bash Barbarian in Season 5, is it still playable? The answer is absolutely yes. So we got some new things to mess around with. We got the Crown of Lucian. We also got the Lockrun's Talisman, as well as the Shard of Barathel. All of these combined will give us way more damage. And in fact, I would say Bash Barbarian is actually buffed. And actually have a really cool build over here that we're messing around with, which actually has a lot more like tools. So when we play Hodo, we can activate our Pain Gorgers. In addition to that, we also have Leap, just for extra mobility, going through walls, but you can run another Shout if you want to. I just like to be as fast as possible, even though on the PTR we get less progress, so technically it takes a little bit longer on the PTR here, but it is absolutely still playable. We'll do a full run and kind of talk about newer changes here. There really isn't too much that has changed, it's just some of the stuff I mentioned, but there's a massive nerf to that bashes damage when you get the tempering stats, and I'll show you how that has like significantly changed, but still absolutely playable. You get crazy amounts of damage still compared to like any other build. I mean, Barbarian is still like king when it comes to like damage. I decided not to run a bunch of shouts, but you can if you want to. I decided to go for a disembowel instead, and because you have a lot less room, unfortunately no more bold chieftains, but I still think that the build is okay. You can maybe even just remove Marshall completely and make a no shout build, although it's still not a bad idea to run it. It's just I've already played so many builds of Barbs, and almost every single Barb build is triple shout, you know, Wrath of the Berserker for so long. So we leap to go, maybe reposition, and you can see we can do so much damage anyways. Like, even this build at its nerf state is still stronger than like most builds in their like most powerful bugged state. It's just wild how good Barbarian is. I still actually really like the Tierlist armor. The other option is to run Rage if you want to do like other content. It's still good. One thing that is really rough on the PTR right now is like the bosses. They do way too much damage. It's because the way that they're scaled is on just another level. It's not like with the updates. And on top of that, you have a lot worse not only survivability against the boss, it feels like, but also it takes longer to get to the boss. But man, this build is just so dang strong. But if I was to compare this and the Whirlwind Barb, I think the Whirlwind Barb is a lot smoother for gameplay, but this one is probably one of my favorite builds just ever. The charge scale, if anyone played that season, was at 3, and it just feels so good. It really does. Even without even activating Pain Gorgers, and most of the stuff just dies instantly. And right now we don't even have a shrine, that's just Tyrell's. I actually really like Tyrell's, it just gives you a lot of survivability. But you can run Rage, you can run a normal chest piece, it's not really like required. But you will have to watch your resources. That is something that you'll have to kind of look at, and to fix the bug on the boss, we can go in and out, and hopefully that will fix it. And now we can go in. So we can go ahead and like leap on the boss. And just go melt the boss. The boss is gone. Woo. So you can see in just like it's just only a couple of minutes. So to go ahead and go over kind of the newer updates, like what is essentially going to be something that you'll have to change in the build. So you will need a couple newer things to get your damage up, and one of them is going to be an uber unique, but every single build in the entire game will be running the brand new combo. So this is kind of the new combos. Let me explain kind of the inner workings of it. So first off, Bash took some crazy nerfs. The original number was way higher. If I go to like max roll, actually this is something I need to demonstrate. So how Bash used to work, and the reason why it got super nerfed, but then it got kind of buffed, is with this stuff I'm about to mention. But this is the biggest change right here. So if we were to go craft a mace on the PTR, let's just make this full screen. So if I was to utilize this and get the tempering on Bash, right? So now you can see this is on a two-hander. So if I was to go for like that min-max, I got it 12 out of 12, right? We could go up to, on a two-hander, 88 damage. Now, before, how it worked was if we were to do the bash, we would get 363. So I mean that's a big damage nerf. I believe it's like a 80% nerf or something like that. So like maybe like 1/4 ish damage. Basically, massive numerical change, right? And at that point, you're like, dude, this build's like unusable, which is what a lot of people like thought when they first started checking it out. But there was a huge savior here with the Shard of Barithel, which basically gives you, if you get a perfect one, you get 300x, right, damage. But this thing is actually pretty good too, because it also gives you all sets is a pretty decent thing for Barb already, and that is because it lets you hit a lot of the different nodes on the Paragon board. After the update, they reduced a lot of the stats, right? So this lets you hit a lot more stuff that you normally wouldn't hit. So that's good for that. Gives you extra maximum resource, which is actually important for what we're about to talk about. But also, we got the basic attack speed, which is a really good stat. That alone is pretty much an affix, right? If we were looked at like accelerating or something. So you need this in order to play Bash Barbarian in Season 5. This is a brand new thing. You got to get it. Another newer change over here is the Crown of Lucian. So this makes it so each time we spend primary... Oh, I wasn't really actually done with this. By the way, the basic skills now cost primary resource. And you guys saw from the gameplay, I didn't have any resource problems. And we don't even get this. If you really need it, maybe if you don't have Ring of Starless Skies, you might have to go for this. But we actually run Combat Bash so we can get the Overpower with Hammer of the Ancients to get 40x more damage, which if you want to run it, I kind of like it because it kind of acts as another damage source. You can remove Leap if you want to, but I like jumping through walls, and it's fun, and it also gives us Berserking because I'm not a fan of Steel Grasp. As you can see, I don't even play it. Even though if you want to play Steel Grasp, that's fine. It's optional. It's just another skill that you can proc Berserking with. We actually get vulnerability though with our ring, and I'll explain that because you are really tight on room for the newer build. So Crown of Lucian makes it so each time you spend primary resource with a skill, you're going to gain extra damage, but you have increased resource costs, and that stacks multiple times. So think of this kind of like a reverse Ring of the Starless Sky. It doesn't reduce your cost. However, on the legendary power or the unique power, we also gain 75% resource cost reduction. So this combined with Ring of Starless Skies, which gives you resource cost reduction, makes it much better. So no longer you need Harlequin. Now you can play without Tyrael's Might. I just like it. I think it's a really good thing. I actually like this armor as well, but the main problem with this is you don't get the DR from some of the shadow bosses because, well, they're not affected by a bleed, I believe is kind of how it works. So, if you want to, you can run this, though. It is another thing. It's just, if you want more survivability, Tyrael's is probably going to be the go-to. Or you can run the Iron Skin aspect. That can help out, too. Or any just defensive chest piece. Pretty much the rest of the stuff is going to be the same, and you're going to want to get, like, Bash on your pants. That's nothing really big here. There is a new pair of boots that you can run that can help out this build, and you can get some more damage. And I gotta go over here to go toward the pants rat. So we're gonna have to select PTR. And then there are some new boots. These could be played, so you get cooldown reduction on it, which is great. But the thing that makes this so OP, if you get a greater affixed one, not even getting any master working rolls. Let's say you just get one. That's already 77. You get triple, that's your resistances are done. So these boots are massive. The non-physical damage doesn't really matter too much, but this could deal some sort of damage. But it's really just the utility of res capping and cooldown reduction and movement speed. Like, those are all the stats. The other one doesn't really matter that much. But that's another item or area where you could get something cool. Now, the other brand new thing is Lockrent's Talisman. So what this allows you to do is get a huge amount of crit strike chance. So it won't show up in here. In fact, it's kind of funny if you look at the crit strike chance over here. So you'll see our crit strike chance is 51. If I remove this, I get... it goes from 51 to 50. So why does it do that? So it doesn't register the correct stats in here. It's Diablo 4, it's PTR. Expect to see bugs and stuff that's not working properly. But it's supposed to give you up to 42 crit strike chance per point of your resource. And then you also get maximum resource here. You get maximum resource here, as well as in your helmet. So all of this starts to add up. And the reason why it's important on its unique power is you get a bunch of crit, which basically gives us 42 crit. And then each point of our primary resource above 100 gains +1 critical strike damage. Now that is an X, that's a multiplier. So we have almost 200, so that's another 93 crit strike X damage. So that is pretty massive. So ideally, if you can, try to get as much crit strike chance as possible, as well as crit strike damage. Ideally though, once you're at whatever this number is plus your stats, so like ours is at, what is it? 51. So 51 plus 42, we're almost there, right? We're just there, like super close. So at that point, you almost have 100% crit relatively easy with your build. Maybe get some master working on this, and then you'll be good to go. And you'll have 100% crit in the build, and it'll be much better. You also get a massive amount of, you get attack speed, you also get crit strike damage, so it's a pretty solid amulet overall, plus all stats. Really good stuff. So pretty much, these are the 3 new items that you need to be on the lookout for the Barbarian. And look, that skin is just really cool too. But that is basically the Bash Barbarian in a nutshell. I already have pretty much the same build already uploaded, but I'll be making an updated guide. But I just wanted to go ahead and kind of explain this stuff and show off gameplay real quick for Season 5, as it's something that I think a lot of people were worried about. I thought Bash was going to be done, but I was like, I'm playing Whirlwind anyways, and Whirlwind is quite good as well. And if you want to play that, which one is better? Well, you can hit for higher numbers with Bash, but the Whirlwind build is just so smooth. I think the Whirlwind's going to be the fan favorite, to be honest. But if you are a fan of Bash, you can definitely still play Bash. You can also consider running the Charge, and I think Charge, if I didn't play Charge on my like Barb, I would not want to play Bash at all. Like, I have to play this. It's a really satisfying skill, the way it works, plus Leap, like, I like it. It's just the play style of this, it feels way more fun to play than to play the Shouts. But if you want to play the Shouts, that's another option. Go for it. But anyways, that's the Bash Barbarian in Season 5. It's still pretty good, but let me know your guys' thoughts on it so far. I'm liking it, though. I'm liking it a lot. I really like Charge.